Hi everybody and good morning. Today begins the first week of working on our science packets that we sent home. If you don't have the science packet, every single day I'm going to attach whatever worksheet we're working on, and then you can just use that. If you can't print it, you can use a paper and pencil and copy down. So if you don't have your Fusion book, I'm going to be reading to us, and then I'll show pictures. I'll show the pages. If you do have your Fusion book, please open to page 208. Because today we're going to talk about the natural environment and renewable and non-renewable resources. So I'm going to begin reading on page 208 right now. You can pause this video if you don't have your Fusion book and you want to go grab it. I'm going to start reading here. Resources you can rely on: soap, water, clothes, wood, bricks, pencils, paper. What do all these things have in common? They are all natural resources or things made from these resources. There are some pictures here and it says these pictures show natural resources. Natural resources are materials found in nature that are used by living things. Can you identify the natural resources in the picture? Here's our picture. And we've got a tree. We've got a child with some water. There's a water fountain there. Anybody know what these are? These are windmills. So they harness the energy from the wind and they make electricity. We've got, I'm not sure, the color orange here. And then we've got a little shrimp right here. So looking at these, which do you think are natural resources? And it says that natural resources are materials found in nature that are used by living things. So what materials here are found in nature that are used by living things? Trees. We use trees. We use water. We use wind to make electricity. And I would even argue that we might even use this shrimp. We eat it. I'm not sure about the color orange, unless this was supposed to be the sun. And I would say, yeah, the sun is definitely a natural resource, but I'm not sure about the color orange. Don't think that's a natural resource. Natural resources, such as water and air, are used again and again. Other resources form quickly in nature and are easy to replace. If a tree is cut to make paper, a new tree can be grown in a short time. The new tree will replace the old tree. Natural resources that can be replaced quickly are called renewable resources. Scientists also consider sunlight and wind renewable resources. People need to use renewable resources wisely. The wise use of resources is called conservation. Why is it conservation important? People can use up renewable resources. Think about this. What would happen to fish if people ate more fish than could be replaced? Soon, there would be no fish left. So if we look at this picture, we're going to identify what renewable resources are found in this setting. So if you have your Fusion book right now, I hope you also have a pencil. I want you to fill out this box. I want you to look at this picture and identify what renewable resources are in this setting. If you don't have your Fusion book, then we're just going to do it here together. Let's say, so I see the trees. I see the water in the pond, or maybe it's a lake. I see grass. I see sunlight. I see this grass is bending, so maybe the wind is here. I see birds. Are they a renewable resource? Well, if we use them for something, sure. Maybe if they were like chickens that we would eat, but they're not. They just look like, I'm not sure what type of bird that is. They kind of look like cranes. Okay, returning to page 210. Now we're going to talk about non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources. Not all natural resources can be replaced quickly. Some natural resources take thousands or millions of years to form. Natural resources that aren't replaced easily are called non-renewable resources. It can take thousands or millions of years to replace a non-renewable resource. Fossil fuels are an example of a non-renewable resource. Coal, oil, and natural gas are all types of fossil fuels. So remember that fossil fuels, there's 3 different types: coal, oil, and natural gas. Some are used to produce electricity. So maybe your house runs off of natural gas, and that's how you produce your heat and your electricity. And some are used to run planes, cars, and other vehicles. Because they form so slowly, there are limited amounts of fossil fuels and other non-renewable resources. Once non-renewable resources are used up, they cannot be replaced in our lifetimes, right? Because it takes millions of thousands of years. If you are going to be around in 1,000,000 to 1,000 years, I want to know your secret. If people keep using fossil fuels at the same rate they use them today, these fossil fuels will be gone very soon. So we're using fossil fuels much faster than they will ever be replaced. Oil is found deep underground. It is pumped to the surface and then refined before it can be used. So we use oil for our cars, for our planes. And here is a picture of pumping oil, right? We get the gasoline from the gas station, we fill up our cars so that we can go places, but they first have to pump it underground, from underground. And that's a really long process that they have to go through, and then they have to refine it. So there's a lot that goes behind the oil that comes out of the pump at the gas station. Here's some more non-renewable resources. Soil. Wow. You would have thought soil was a renewable resource, right? It's outside, it's natural, but soil takes hundreds of years to form. That is amazing. It is made of weathered rock and once living plants and animals. So when we say weathered rock, that means rock that has been broken down into tiny, tiny little pieces, almost like powder, from the weather, from the wind hitting it, from water hitting it, and that is called erosion. So weathered rock. And once living plants and animals. So they broke down to those decomposers that we talked about in the food chain at the very bottom of the food chain. They take all of the bits and pieces of that was once living rock, not rocks are never living, once living plants and animals, and they broke them down into tiny little pieces and organic materials that they're made up of. And that's what makes soil. And that takes hundreds of years. So soil is a non-renewable resource that people use to grow crops. Crops are plants or like vegetables, things that we eat. It can be washed away if it is left uncovered or used improperly. As a result, it is important for people to conserve soil. There's that word again, conserve. That's shorter for conservation, and we know that was mentioned on page 209. And they said conservation is the wise use of resources. So thinking about how you're using your resources, planning so that you don't use them all up at once. So as a result, it's important for people to conserve soil because it takes so long for it to build up. Minerals and rocks are other types of non-renewable resources. A mineral is a non-living solid with a crystal form. A rock is a solid substance made of one or more minerals. So there's the difference. A mineral is a non-living solid with a crystal form, and rocks are a solid substance made up of minerals. So rocks are made up of minerals. A rock that contains a valuable mineral is called an ore. Many minerals and rocks, such as limestone and aluminum, are mined. And mined means dug up out of the ground. Once they have been removed from a mine, there are none left. It takes a long time for more minerals or rocks to form. So we have a picture here of a man in a farm field, and then we have a picture of some weathered rock. And I'm not sure where that is. Oh, it says limestone and aluminum are mined. Limestone is used to make cement and aluminum is used to make cans. So actually this is a mine. This is not naturally weathered. This is man altered. People mined the aluminum and they mined the limestone because we can use it for things. So these are all examples of non-renewable resources. All right, and I think that we were just reading to page 211 today. So we just learned about renewable and non-renewable resources. Hopefully you watched the Brain Pop video. If not, please go back and watch that. Now I would like to show you what I would like you to do. So what we have here is our Venn diagram, and we are going to compare and contrast resources. So if you already have your packet at home, then that's perfect. You just need a pencil or a marker, crayon, a pen, and you are going to fill this out. Here is the bank of words, and you're going to write each word where it belongs. Now, if you don't have this at home and you're just looking at it right here on my screen, or it's also attached in Google Classroom, you can pull it up and look at it. And you can just use a piece of paper or pencil and complete this. So let's do one together. Let's see. Gives us power. Do renewable resources give us power? Yes, some of them do. We use the wind, we use the water, we use the sun as renewable resources, right? And they can generate electricity. Non-renewable resources, do they give us power? Well, yes, they do. If we go back into our Fusion book where we were reading about non-renewable resources such as fossil fuels, such as coal, such as oil, they can give us power. We use those for power. So this one right here gives us power. That would go under both. So you're going to complete this at home, and then I will post the answers in maybe tomorrow. I'll post the answers tomorrow so that you can double check. And after you complete this, please just complete your exit ticket. It's a 3, 2, 1, where you're going to tell me 3 things that you thought were interesting, 2 questions that you have, and 1 thing that you thought was, or 3 things that you learned. There we go, that's better. 3 things that you learned, 2 questions that you have, and 1 thing that you thought was interesting. Okay, so I will see you all tomorrow, and we will talk about, we'll continue to talk about science and renewable and non-renewable resources, and more specifically, we'll talk about pollution. All right, everybody take care. I hope that you are safe and happy and healthy, and I can't wait to see you all when we return to school, and I miss you.